As the name of this my channel suggests, and as this slide suggests, we are going to talk about business process architecture. My name is Pinaki Ghosh, and this is my contact information. If you want to, you can contact me by email, and I will send you the presentation in PDF format. I have about 25 years experience with process architecture, and I run a pretty large business myself. This is a gist of my work and with process architecture over the years. Building a business requires some kind of plan to make things happen. But the plans in real world are supported by actors, their actions, funding resources, controls decisions, contracts, compliances, laws of the land. The act of incorporating all or some of these elements in a flow is called business process architecture. The blueprint is the outcome. One of the important things here is to understand that however you plan or however you architect the things, actors can act both rationally and irrationally. So it is important to understand that a process architecture is just a plan. The terms you will see in this slide, like enterprise ontology, enterprise engineering, enterprise architecture, enterprise blueprint, enterprise data dictionary, these are mostly blah blah terms I call because they are used by consulting companies to build large corporations. I am showing it because many consultants and software companies use these terms and people get carried away. I will not spend too much time on this, but most of these terms are non-quantitative by nature and mostly non-measurable. Going through these terms, let's first talk about ontology. Ontology is the general theories. It can be of anything: economics, science, humanities, philosophies, theories around why things happen, theories which make things happen. This is a very, very large topic, and it's typically philosophical by nature, and everybody can incorporate whatever they want, including their uncle's middle name, in the topic of ontology. But it's important to understand these are theories. The only area ontologies come really handy is building frameworks, because it enables the higher level connections between topics. Next is enterprise engineering and enterprise architecture. I will deal with them together. The word engineering and the word architecture are so different that there is no way we can use them under the same umbrella. Most consulting companies create their own definitions of architecture, and they don't use really the term engineering too much. But this enables companies to create their own definitions and methods of how to manage their plans. So enterprise architecture, you can look at it as a broad plan with an outcome that is suitable for a company. A broad plan which ties a lot of the elements inside the company. The enterprise blueprint is the outcome of the architecting and engineering effort. Now this is very different from the product blueprint. Like when somebody is building a car, they have a product blueprint, which is different. But this is also synonymous to business process library, sliced in various groups, in various buckets. There is no difference between enterprise blueprint and business process blueprints. The final term here is enterprise data dictionary. This can be very useful, and it's often an activity which takes years to build. And this is never really completed in any company. Many mature companies make extensive data dictionaries. There are certain global data dictionaries also, like schema.org, etc. But this primarily helps companies to communicate through integration, various integration mechanisms. As for example, when you use the word invoice and when somebody else in the company uses the word invoice, they may mean two different things. One may mean invoice from a customer, from a supplier, and one for you the invoice may be the invoice you are making to a customer. So what is the definition of an invoice inside a company versus what is the definition of a sales order, etc. So data dictionary or enterprise data dictionary is a very important topic, and this is something we will be talking about a little bit in the future. The terms we'll be primarily focusing on in my future presentations will be business process architecture, business process modeling notations, business process blueprint, business process modeling, business process management, and architecture framework. I have set them in order because typically it moves through the process architecture into blueprint using a modeling notation. And then once you get something out of the architecture board, you do various modeling activities, making sure that the process will work. And then finally comes the process management, which ensures that the process actually physically works. Now, I could have used the architecture framework either at the top or at the bottom because it's a design time activity. I have used the framework in the bottom, but you can either use it in the you could have used it. I could have used it in the top too. Anyhow, the architecture framework is a broad topic by itself, but keeping the scope limited for architecture framework is very useful, and I have seen some companies be very successful using a very small limited architecture framework. I will talk about that later. These are some of the books I use quite often. The couple of the books here are something I used all the time. One is called The Principles of Transaction Processing by Philip Bernstein and Eric Newcomer. It's a fantastic book, and it teaches you how transactions work. In business, it's important to learn transactions, because business is transaction. And also, understanding Petri-net is also very important because Petri-net is probably the only scientific method of process modeling.